Hello and welcome to the CFCTALK podcast. Of course, this would have been a very happy podcast and we would have all had a fun and laugh about the game against West Brom tonight. But at the end of the day, Chelsea didn't live up to their mark. I mean, 3-3 at the end of full time. Performance that is worth not giving more than 5 out of 10 for, but we've got a long time to discuss this. Of course, our usual hosts, Amart and Alex, welcome.
Hello, great to. I'm happy to be on, but I wish in better circumstances. Not so happy with the game, but it's great to have the opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, welcome, Amart.
Yeah, same. Not the ideal circumstances to record a podcast, but we're going to power through.
I think we were missing you in the last podcast, and now you're the good luck charm for Chelsea, I guess.
Yeah, we're never doing a preview to a game without Amart ever again. Never.
Okay. Remember, I was here when Liverpool beat us, so it's not always that it works.
I mean, we should be beating a team like West Brom on any given day.
That's true.
Well,
We should.
it's Premier League. You can't beat anyone on every single day in the Premier League.
At least you got
really,
something from it.
But I would not even count that as a point. I mean, come on, like.
Yeah, the performance. I mean, in terms of a performance, like how good we were, it was pretty shocking, really. I mean, I guess, yeah, the academy boys really shined in the second half, but the first half was absolutely disastrous, and that's I don't think we should forget about it. We should, yeah, because it was just an awful, really awful defensive performance. Too many mistakes. It's like I think it felt like the West Brom players were taking it way more seriously than we were, and yeah, they punished us really early on, and also we had we had some early chances in the game where we could. It really, I mean, by the time West Brom scored, it really should have been 2-1 to us. Both Tammy and Werner had crosses from Reece that should have been goals, but they just they put it over the bar and put it aside. That's frustrating for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. Just a hint at what we're going to be discussing tonight. I mean, West Brom, of course. So we're going to be firstly talking about the first 45 minutes and the last 45 minutes. And according to Frank Lampard, we won the match because we scored 3 goals in the second half. But yeah, I think the best way to put it is we need to forget this game and concentrate on Tottenham, which is coming inside of 2 days, 3 days time. But again, the player ratings as usual hopefully doesn't take as long as Liverpool ones. But yeah, it's going to be pretty easy to give everyone a 5 in my opinion, but let's see how it goes. Amart, firstly, the start, how bad was it?
The game was actually like it was a game of 2 halves. So the first half was for West Brom and the second half was for Chelsea. And I don't know, I just think that we kind of like underestimated them a bit, because when we started the game, we saw that there was this kind of confidence that from the players. We thought it was a done deal. We thought it was an easy game. We are going in to go and win and then come out. And part of me blames it on the third kits, but I'm not going to talk about third kits right now. We'll talk about the third kits soon. But part of me blames it on it. I don't think it's a lucky kit. We should stop wearing it. We should ban it. Just end it. But yeah, on a more serious note, we were pretty poor in the beginning, and the mistakes, man, from Alonso.
Is it just me? Just a second. Is it just me, or the kit looked pink when we were playing?
Yeah, it's pink. They want to kind of like market it as red, but it's pink. It's pink.
Yeah.
It shouldn't we shouldn't beat, like we shouldn't lie about it. It's just a thing. It's even worse than the Palace kit, and I don't know who okayed it. They said it was supposed to represent one of the Air Force models, the Nike Air Force models, and then I don't know. It really didn't work out. But yeah, on the performance, we didn't start well. We didn't start well at all. It looked like we had some chances that we were supposed to bury. We didn't bury, and then they got their goal, and then we were now under pressure to score, and then they blocked the back. We did another mistake that led to another goal, and then Thiago Silva, of all people, Thiago Silva. Why? I was so surprised. I didn't even see the mistake initially because I was doing something on my phone, and when I raised my head up, they had scored, and I was like, wow. And when I saw the replay and I saw it was Thiago Silva, and I was just grateful that he didn't slip, because if he slipped, we can't banter Liverpool with the Gerrard slip
Oh
anymore,
no,
because now we also have a slip. That
it would
thing
be
that we
the end
hold
of it.
dear, yeah, to be there, and he didn't slip. Luckily, he didn't slip. But it was just poor. That mistake was just poor. And for the third goal, I don't know. I blame Alonso and then Reese, because initially when I was watching, I didn't really see Alonso's mistake, but during the halftime analysis, they pointed out that Alonso was supposed to mark its man, but he was walking, and he allowed that cross to come in, and then James just lost concentration. I don't think he expected the ball to come in the way it did. He lost concentration, and I was telling Alex before the we started recording that he he had two people next to him, and I don't know who was behind him, but whoever was supposed to mark the person behind him wasn't there. So he was looking at the person in front of him, and unfortunately the ball went to the back, and then they scored. And yeah, that's all I have to say about the first half. But the first half was just poor, man.
I think I'll leave my rant to the end, and I said it to you both. Like, if I'm probably gonna rant a lot in this one, but just before I let Alex speak and talk about the first half, it, I'll throw this out there, and if Amart, you want to talk about this as well, you can. Did this look like the same Chelsea who just beat Barnsley 6-0? And of course, yes, with all respect to Barnsley, they're in the second tier of English football, and they're not as good as West Bromwich Albion. But if we compare the performance against West Bromwich Albion and Barnsley, it is a difference. There's such a big difference, isn't it, Alex?
I agree, yes, but it also, as well as the difference in league, it's like dropping down a league. It's also a difference in play style. We scored a lot of our goals from just robbing the centre backs of Barnsley, because for some reason they were trying to play out from the back, and West Brom were not about that. West Brom were very counter attacking. So I mean, I was expecting a tougher game. I wasn't expecting it, because it wasn't. It was also a different team uh, in attack, so, and defense. So yeah, they play differently as well because of the. I mean, if West Brom were playing up from the back, it would be way easier for us to just nab the ball off them and get some more goals. But they were very compact. They countered us really well, and they exploited our weaknesses of set pieces and Alonso not being a competent defender. So yeah, it's not a huge shock, but it's disappointing. But I don't think we can say, oh, we beat Barnsley 6-0, so we should be able to beat West Brom 4-0 or something. Even though I predicted us to win 4-0, but
I think we
yeah,
all, as Amart mentioned
it's,
before this podcast, we all just had to throw our predictions out of the window and just pretend we never even said that.
yeah.
Yes,
In, sorry, go on.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just that I kind of forgot about, like, West Brom. They've bought some good players. Callum Robinson, the striker, he got 2 goals today. He last season for Sheffield United, he punished us. He got a goal against us at the Bridge, and they've also got Grant, the guy they bought from West Ham, Grant. I can't. I'm not going to attempt to say his name because I would probably ruin it. But but yeah, they've bought some good players. They're not the typical West Brom where they just hoof it up to the striker and hope for the best. They've got some really good players, and they were really organised against us. So and at the same time though, we did like completely. There were plenty of chances for us even in the first half, and the Tammy and Werner were just not clinical enough. So yeah, it was a disappointing first half, but we shouldn't be surprised by our inability to our like difference in play style from Barnsley to West Brom, because Barnsley weren't compact. They for some reason tried to play out from the back, which is really stupid. Like I think with 3 of the 6 goals we pretty much robbed by just putting a tackle against one of their centre backs coming out with the ball, and it was just easy goals. So yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
it's
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that issue, on that matter, because you see that's why we kept saying that in the Barnsley review. We kept saying that it's just Barnsley because we don't want to get carried away, because they play in a different way. They weren't as like you said, they weren't as compact as West Brom was today, and it's kind of like ironic because they made a lot of mistakes in the back that led to the goals, and we did the same thing today that led to their goals, the West Brom goals. So they were playing from the back on the last time we played with them, and then we're also trying to do the same thing. We made so many mistakes trying to do that, and it's not the same because this team is Premier League quality. That team is a different quality, and they approach the game differently. West Brom actually came in to defend and to play on the counter, which they did successfully 3 times, and then they did really really well with that, and so it's a different game. But I'm just hoping it doesn't repeat itself. We have to be more compact. We have to be more solid. We also have to be trying to play on the counter instead of also trying to play from the back. I've never ever enjoyed when we play from the back. I've never ever really enjoyed it. I don't know why. Is it I don't know whether it's because we don't have a keeper that can actually do that, or other or defenders that can actually do that, but it just doesn't work out, and I really don't like it.
Yeah, I totally understand your points, and I'm gonna go on a rant here. So stop me if you want. But um, what a first half! Like, I watched the game. When I started watching the game, it was already 1 minute in, and I was confident Chelsea would probably have possession. I don't remember exactly how much possession we had. They showed it on during the match, but it was something with West Brom having, I think, 55, 60% of the possession in the first 15 minutes. Firstly, Alonso's yellow. Why is he tackling like that? It doesn't make any sense. There were so many tackles flying around. Really bad defending. And that first goal, when that went in, that should not have gone in. That was a defensive error. And we brought in Thiago Silva. Chilwell, this is something that we want to talk about. I want to talk about. Chilwell should have started this game, if not start, at least show up to this game. There was no point of starting Alonso. I would not even keep him on the bench. And where is Zuma? Why is he not even with the squad? Okay, yes, maybe he's got an injury, but Frank Lampard didn't say anything about that in the press conference. And there was no issue with Zuma until yesterday, and suddenly now he's not even part of the squad, which is very surprising to me. Christensen did not deserve to start, but even though he did play really well tonight, and yes, he probably was one of our better players today, one of our better defenders. Silva, on the other hand, should not be making that error. I mean, I would not even expect someone like Tomori to do that, and he's a youngster. Silva, with almost 12, 13, 14 years of experience, should not be doing that at any cost. I mean, you don't have anyone to pass, you clear your line, you don't do something like that. And yes, it was a very bad pass back to him, but I mean, Thiago Silva should have taken that. And with our attackers, we spent 200 million and we were yet to convert a single goal in the first half. And we have struggled so bad converting goals. I mean, taking our chances. I think Werner hit the bar as Alex mentioned. Tammy missed one of a good opportunity, and then Mount, even though he was passing it well, I think he missed an opportunity as well. So we were struggling to finish our chances, which is why we let West Brom come into our defense and get a hold of those goals. Of course, it also comes down to mentality. I think when, as fans, as Chelsea players, I think we were going to this game, we were like, yes, this is going to be an easy game. If we could hold on Liverpool for 2-0 with a red card, we should be able to win against West Brom, even if it's 1-0, 2-0. But they made it really hard, and they worked hard for it. And as Amart said, our players didn't show as much determination as the other team. And yes, I would say we got lucky with that draw. That Tammy goal, that was a lucky goal at the end. I don't think I would class that as a goal and then a draw for Chelsea. I mean,
Yeah,
yes, we did get a point, but if we're gonna play a team like West Brom, respect to them. But when you spend so much, we had Silva, we had Werner, we had Ziyech, so we had three of our signings. Yes, Ziyech is still injured. Yes, Chilwell didn't play, but we still need to show improvement. If we played like this last season, we would not even have come to top four. And this year, we're trying to aim for top three, Champions League, a domestic cup. So with our expectations with Frank Lampard, and which is why I also tweeted something quite controversial, which I deleted because I don't want to get into a lot of trouble and a lot of arguments with football Twitter, and I think everyone knows what that would happen. But overall, first half, what would you guys rate Chelsea, Alex?
Well, first half, a
Yeah,
4. The first half was disastrous. The worst half of the season so far, and up there with okay, I'm gonna cut the chatter because we all know why it was awful. But yeah, I'm gonna give it like a 4. No, a 4 because we were creating chances, but um, not converting them and making defensive mistakes.
yeah. I mean, four's quite fair. Amart, your rating?
yeah. Considering the fact that I was absolutely fuming at halftime, I don't know. I don't want to go too low because there were some positives in the beginning, but I'll give them a 3 because I don't think they deserve anything because it does like I said earlier, they didn't show anything. Like we were trailing 3-0 down, but you could see players walking. You could see players taking their time with passes instead of being aggressive like they did in the second half. But you could see players like relaxing, walking. You lose the ball and you'll be walking instead of them to be passing the ball into the West Brom um, penalty box for us to get something, and then you see them passing it back to Caballero. You see an attack start, and then it ends up with Caballero. I didn't really understand why that was going on. And with the like you said with the third goal, yes, a lucky goal, but that's what they wanted. I could see that's what they wanted. They were just throwing balls and they were just trying to kick balls in. Whatever happened, and luckily we were able to come away with the points. But I give them a 3.
I think I'll go in between you both. I'll say 3.5, which would make the average 3.5 as well. And yeah, totally agree with both of you. You know, it was absolutely terrible seeing this Chelsea team play that first half. And for all of you stat interested people out there, here's a stat for you. We haven't scored a single goal created by chances in the first half this season after 3 games. The only goal that we did score in the first half was a penalty from Jorginho, except that all of our goals have come after the 55th minute, and tonight was the earliest one, which was in the 55th minute, which is an interesting stat.
Yeah. Let me
Yeah,
let me
It's like
let me
it's
chip
like
in. Okay, when you're done with the start, I'll chip in a positive start.
it feels like Chelsea come into the game thinking we've got a chance, we can win this, but they don't have any determination. They go into halftime. Frank Lampard drills them apart and just tells them the agenda again, and they realize, oh, we need to go and do our jobs, and then they realize, let's switch on. First half against Liverpool, if I remember, was pretty good. We did create chances, we were defending well, but tonight was absolutely terrible. And if we play like this against a team like West Brom, expect us to lose against Tottenham in the midweek. Expect us to probably lose against Crystal Palace, who've just beaten a very good Man United side.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
we had these results last year, and you all know, like, we would lose to Southampton or we would lose to West Ham, then Frank Lampard, as usual, he's very good at getting reaction out of players, and I don't doubt his ability to get a reaction out of the players now. And also, it's been well documented how he's he told the players how important the Tottenham games are to the fans, and it'll be the same in a couple of days. And plus, with the fact that we played so poorly today, I do think Frank is going to be treating this Spurs game really seriously. I mean, he should be anyway, but even more seriously than I'd expect him to, because yeah, we really need to see a good performance, or a good 90-minute performance soon, because yeah, we just can't. The mistakes that were made just can't be allowed to happen. But to be fair, I don't think with the new signings coming in of Mendy and Joel, those mistakes should. Well, I'm not saying the mistakes we won't make any mistakes at all, and we won't concede any goals at all. But we should see less of them.
Yeah, hopefully we do.
So with the whole 200 million attack thing, yes, we did spend 200 million on the attack, almost, but a lot of it was to help with the creativity, and I thought we did create quite a bit today. Havertz had a good assist, and Werner really should have scored. Like, he hit the post once, and yeah, it is frustrating, but these guys still. I mean, not every signing we make is going to be the Diego Costa signing where he gets like bags 9 Premier League goals in like 4 games. So these guys have got to have time. They're young. They're not necessarily suited or adjusted to the Premier League yet. So it's fine to give them time. And plus, we have technically our best player of restart last year still out for a couple of weeks, and we're still scoring 3 goals without Christian Pulisic, and we're still scoring 3 goals without Hakim Ziyech. So I cannot wait for them to be back, and then so we can stop playing these players out of position on the wings. So yeah, so we should be able to score even more goals in the coming months. But
here's a debatable question. Just one. Yes, we're creating chances, and yes, we're not finishing them. But players of the caliber of Timo Werner, Kai Havertz should be taking every chance and at least getting a shot on target. And yes, Timo Werner did hit the post first, but how much longer do they need to get a good start in the Premier League? I mean, they know the circumstances. Yes, we didn't have a preseason, and yes, we didn't have any friendly matches that we usually have, but they need to get the ball rolling. If not, then Frank needs to say, hey, probably if you can't convert these chances into goals, I might need to start Tammy Abraham, Olivier Giroud, and get you to play cup games to get your confidence up, and then bring you back into the Premier League, or play you against some relegated team, or probably West Ham or someone,
or West Brom, like they did today, and not score.
Yeah, Mohammed, you're absolutely right. You are, but see, the thing is, we kept saying this in the beginning, but they definitely need time to be able to get used to how the Premier League is. I think Timo needs more time than we think. We saw the highlights of him. Somebody I didn't really watch was Kai. I just saw highlights and I saw like a little bit of stats from him. But with Timo, I watched him often and I realized that he didn't score every time. It wasn't every time that he scored, but he scored most of the times. He didn't score every time. There are some games that he just missed absolute sitters for Leipzig. And the Leipzig fans know that he's a goal scorer, but he has his days. I think last season he went on a little bit of a goal drought for some time, and he came out of it and he started scoring goals. So he's not somebody who will just come in and start scoring every chance that he gets. He's going to warm up a bit. You see, we saw with Kai. Kai got that he started his first goal that he got is he got a hat trick. The first goal came in threes. So I think we just need to give this guys time. We know they are good. But they've been here for how long? That's 1, 2 months. So we need to take our time with them. And Kai has been here for shorter. We still need to take our time with them. We still need to have patience with them. We have players who can also score. That's what we saw today. We saw Mount and um, Callum and Tammy score. So yes, they are supposed to be finishing those chances, but they definitely need time to adjust the Premier League. It's not an easy thing to do. It's a new country. It's a new. Yes, they speak English, but they don't speak English. They didn't speak English when they were in Germany. They knew how to speak it, but they didn't really speak it. But now they have to adjust to a new culture. They have to adjust to a new language. They have to adjust to a lot of things. So they were promising on the field. I'm not going to say they were bad. They were promising on the field, especially Kai Havertz was more promising than Werner. But to say that like they should be scoring every chance, I don't think they will as at now. But when they do start, I don't think there's any stopping them. They'll get used to it and we'll see the goals. But for now, we just have to have patience with the two of them. Plus, they need to play in their positions. Simple as that. When they play in their positions, probably you might get more from them.
I think
than
what I'm seeing right
what
now,
we are
I've got a
getting
few
now.
stats up right now, and I can see Timo Werner has had an average of 4 shots per game, 270 minutes played in the Premier League, 0 goals scored. How does Frank explain that, or how does anyone explain that? As a matter of fact, Alex.
I can explain it because it's not all about goals. Yes, he's okay. The two things Timo Werner is all about is goals and his runs. And yes, he's not been delivering on the goal front because maybe he needs some more time. But his movement and his runs, not so much in the West Brom game, but then again, if I'm honest, I probably wouldn't have started Timo Werner in this game because West Brom are going to sit really deep, and it's just there's no space for him to make his amazing runs. So, but in every other game, his movement has been top notch, and he's been unlucky to not score. So, yeah, it's a simple case of that. You got to keep playing him. He's a fantastic striker, and I would probably avoid playing him on the left wing. I don't really. I don't know. He wasn't what we needed from the left winger in that lineup is not what Timo Werner is. Timo Werner's a cold finisher, and we needed someone to kind of be the Hudson-Odoi, like do what Hudson-Odoi did when he came on. But we absolutely cannot write him off, and I don't even think I mean, to be fair, yes, you could play Hudson-Odoi in the next couple of games, like against Palace, but you can't. I mean, I would even then. It's risky to drop him. He's not been bad. He's doing all the right things. It's just he's been. And he's come close with multiple times. He's hit the post. He's had in all of his shots in the past couple of games. He's been very close with his shots, and it's just not happening. So yeah, I say give him time. The goals will come. He's proven it. He's proven that he's not a one-season wonder. He's got goals for his team, 20 goals, 30 goals a season for multiple years, and I completely do not doubt that he's going to be a huge success for us.
Yeah,
And also,
and
sorry, no. Also the same with Havertz. If I'm honest, if anyone thought that Havertz was going to come into the team and get like 20 goals a season or be this ace finisher for us and take loads of shots, then I'm afraid you're mistaken. He's not about that. He's about making the smart passes and smart runs and those trademark edge of the box runs we saw that he's done for Leverkusen. It's not about. He did his job today, and for me, he had some fantastic moments, some fantastic combination moments in the midfield, and he did a good assist for Hudson-Odoi. For me, that's his job done, and I really don't think there was anything huge that he could have done any better. Whereas with Werner, yes, there were a couple of chances that he could have put away. So yeah, I really don't have a problem with Havertz and his performance.
and I wanted to add to this to go down memory lane a bit. If you look at our strikers that have come in at Chelsea, probably apart from Diego Costa. None of them hit the ground running. All of them took time before they even started taking off. I remember Drogba. I don't think I was supporting the team when he was around. I think yeah, I wasn't really watching games from him, but I remember there used to be some criticism around him, even in the second season. There used to be some criticism about him that he wasn't scoring enough goals. We need goals. We need this. We need this. It took time. It came, and I think with Morata too as well. It didn't click in the beginning, but he started scoring goals, and then he faded out. Unfortunately, someone with Torres took a longer time, even though he was already in the Premier League. It took a longer time to start scoring goals for us. So for our strikers, I just think we need patience. At least we have somebody who already scores goals in Tammy Abraham, so he's there to help before Werner starts supplying the goals and starts banging them in. But like Alex said, there's no doubt in my mind that this man is going to do big things for us. And then with Kai as well, the position that he plays, it doesn't necessarily mean he needs to score a goal. Like um sorry, I keep repeating what Alex said because what Alex said. He it's not his job to be scoring goals. The goals need to come from people like Werner, Tammy, Mount, those people playing on mainly in attack. He's supposed to supply them the passes, and he did well today for Callum. So
Yeah.
um, I think they just need time. That's all. They just need time.
And also one more thing, before you, Mohammed, just the lots of people have the conception. I mean, Havertz did get a lot of goals for Leverkusen, especially in his last stint for the club, but that was mainly because he was playing at striker
Yeah,
and
exactly.
right wing. Yeah, he was in much further forward. Whereas for Chelsea, I think it's evident that he's a bit further back. He's going to be much more involved in the midfield and setting up goals. So yeah, it's unrealistic to expect that he's going to be this 20 goal a season player. But it's I mean I expect in the future for him to be a 20 assist a season player. I honestly don't think that's beyond the realm of possibility eventually at the peak of his powers, because he's got everything that he needs to get those numbers.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is that they are both very very young, so they are yet to hit their prime, and with what they've already achieved in their youth, the only way now is up, and we just have to wait for them to start clicking.
Yeah, I mean, I understand your point and how you guys really are like saying yes, they're here. They have a different role at Chelsea compared to where they what the role that they had um, at their respective clubs. But let's move on to a bit of the decisions that are made outside the field. Frank Lampard, why didn't Callum Hudson-Odoi start today, and why didn't we have Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, and Werner up top?
I think it's yeah, Callum should have started, but I don't want to go back to the Barnsley game and be saying criticizing Callum, but to be fair, he didn't really impress in the Barnsley game. So yes, we wanted him to start, but this was the formation that a lot of people were calling out for, and I think there was a lineup a lot of people were calling out for, and this is what Lampard played. It didn't work out, and Callum did better. I always I don't think I've said this on the podcast, but I believe Callum does well when he comes from the bench. He doesn't. I'm not, apart from probably the FA Cup and the one that we wore the anniversary kit, and then the Bayern game. I've not really seen him perform too well when he starts the game, probably because of his injury and his confidence level. But when he comes in from the bench, he comes in as a different player. He sees what is wrong and he comes on and he tries to do something else. He he comes in with some with more energy. So yes, he was supposed to start 100%. Yes, he was, but from from like I'm just taking it from like Lampard's point of view. Already he wasn't starting him in the beginning, and the Barnsley game, like I said, he didn't really shine the Barnsley game. So I think it's his second goal in the Premier League since he started playing for us. So yeah, I think he needs more minutes. He needs more time. So now that we don't have um, a natural winger in that position, hopefully they are back before the next Premier League game. But now that we don't have a natural winger there, I think he should be starting more too. to actually get in the crosses, beat the defenders and all that. But yeah, so I'm just taking it from that angle.
Yeah, I mean, Alex, you got something to say about this?
I pretty much agree with Amart. It's in terms of the decisions, Tammy Abraham and Havertz absolutely had to start this game. Like their cup performance, their chemistry in that game was absolutely superb. So Tammy absolutely deserved to start. Havertz absolutely deserved to start. And then, I mean, it's a question of playing Mount or Werner. I don't think you can question Mount not playing in this game because he got the goal. He made great key passes. Whilst I don't really notice, I don't know. I need to for future games. I'm going to really try and just look at what Mount does off and on the ball because I don't know. I feel a bit blind to it, and yeah. But he was. I mean, people on Twitter and I mean other people as well. Sorry, just he was good in this game. I mean, even on the ball, when I don't really notice how much he does, I thought he was good. And yeah, so the only other position was Hudson-Odoi instead of Werner, which I think you can make a good argument for Hudson-Odoi starting. Well, no, it is a tricky one because Hudson-Odoi wasn't that good in the cup game, so there was no real way to know that he would do well against West Brom. So yeah, so without hindsight, you'd probably start Werner because Hudson-Odoi wasn't that impressive in the last time we saw him. But so from an attacking standpoint, nothing much was wrong. But then from a tactical view, there were a couple of, I think, mistakes made in terms of Alonso. Marcos Alonso cost us 2 goals today. I think, simply put, he was hugely at fault for 2 of the 3 goals, and it's just nothing. It's nothing new. We all know that Alonso is just really not good defensively, and he's not good when he's up against counter-attacking teams. And well, hey, guess what we were up against today? So
yeah, exactly.
it made no sense. Aspie came on. Aspie played well. I thought Aspie was he definitely shifted the focus of him and Hudson-Odoi really helped focus him and Hudson-Odoi really helped shift the balance. Like we were in the first half, we were very intense on the right side. We were everything was going through the right side of the team, and then we ended up just using Reece James's crossing ability. Which, I mean, why wouldn't you? He's an amazing crosser of the ball, and he put in great balls. But we also need to be able to attack on the left side, and that didn't really happen. So, yeah, we need Chilwell back, and until Chilwell's back, we need Aspie back at left back. And Thiago Silva, I mean, it's a mistake that he made, but if you know anything about Thiago Silva, I think you'll know that he'll take it in his stride and he'll just put in a great performance the next time we see him. I think he played what I thought. Other than the mistake, he was fantastic. Or no, not fantastic. He was good. I think he was good. Made some good passes, good interceptions, and yeah. So the only tactical gripe I think we can really have with and Christensen was good today. So yeah, the only tactical gripe we can really have with Lampard is is playing Alonso instead of Aspie. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
I think
sorry.
the only negative.
Okay. So,
Go
like,
ahead.
I wanted to add. I wanted to add that one funny thing about Thiago Silva's mistake was that we got him on a free, so it was hard for rival fans to banter us because he came in free. So it was difficult for people to say that we've wasted money for him. So I just wanted to add that in. It was just something that I saw. It was funny for me. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, can I ask a quick question? My internet's been like going a red bar a couple of times over the past like 10 seconds. So did I get cut off or did you manage to get stuff?
no, it was
Get
all
all?
fine.
Yeah,
Good.
fine.
Okay.
It came
I
came through.
appreciate it. Thanks. All right.
I think
Amart. Sorry. My bad.
I think what I think to sum it
Adam,
up, I'll
sorry.
just say.
Go on, Mohammed. You got this. Go.
I think what I need to add at the end of all of this is, there's going to be a lot of criticism that comes from this game, and overall, all three goals came from individual errors. We said that, and there's a lot that we can improve on. And with this performance, it kind of feels like, yes, we've got one of the best players in the league. We've got players who have been performing in other leagues, and yes, they need time to settle in, as you both mentioned. And in my opinion, they should be by now settled. Tottenham game is going to be important. If we lose Tottenham, I'm going to lose it. I said I'm not going to do that podcast. I think I'm not going to be able to do the podcast after the Tottenham game. But if we lose, I will come and make sure, I will make sure I get my point out, because that game is going to be horrendous if we lose.
It's huge. It is huge. No question.
I don't care if we get knocked out after that Tottenham game, even by a second-tier team, if there's any remaining in the competition. I don't care. We want to beat Tottenham.
Is that the Carabao Cup, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's a must-win. It's but then again, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Lots of signings all coming in, and I think to expect them all to come in and just play magic like on FIFA is just it's a step too high. But
Yeah.
we are Chelsea, and we didn't make the. I mean, yeah, we can expect some gelling period, but that doesn't mean we have to lose or draw every single game and only be able to beat Brighton. So yeah, we do have to. It's a huge game, and I think Lampard knows it. So yeah, I'm expecting Zuma. Honestly, if one of Zuma and Tomori aren't back, I'd be very surprised. Zuma and Tomori absolutely have to be back. Give Thiago Silva a bit of a rest. The guy is like 36 or almost going to be 36, so there's no way he can play 2 or 3 times a week. So yeah, Zuma and Tomori, our best centre backs on form right now, I'd say. They have to be back.
Yeah.
Alonso has to be nowhere near the team. It has to be Chilwell or Asby. And then perhaps, to be fair, we have to be mindful that it's only 3 days away from now. So Reece James, for example, he played a full 90. So I'm not sure how Lampard will deal with fullbacks. Perhaps Emerson gets a start at left back, and then Asby comes in at right back.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
considering how tight the fixtures are, I think that's why we are not really letting players go in the transfer window, because we still have Emerson on. We still have we expected Emerson to leave by now. We still have we are expecting either Rudiger or it looks like Christensen will stay, so we're expecting either Rudiger or Tomori to be gone by now. But I think the team knows that we have a tight schedule. So if somebody is going, probably Rudiger might go, according to rumors. But we need people who will be able to fill in when the other ones can't play. So I don't see players playing every game, because even Kante won't be able to play every game. He's coming from an injury, and we need to take our time with him. Today there was a tackle that there was a tackle on him when he was trying to he was trying to dribble into the penalty box, and it just sent my heart beating so fast, because I didn't want it to result in an injury. Because if we don't have Kante, man, if we let's just throw the season away, because we don't have Kante and we've not brought in any DM. I don't know what we'll do with this season, because today you could clearly see his importance, even though, yeah, he made some mistakes here and there, but you could clearly see his performance. I saw on Who Scored that he had the highest pass accuracy in the team. So it means he did very well. He did very well. Most of his passes reached the last man. But I'm just praying that Lampard is able to rotate this team very well, like how Pep Guardiola has been doing in the past. He also has a big squad, and he manages to rotate them properly. He managed to rotate them in a way that nobody gets angry. It doesn't really affect the players' performances. So if Lampard can also do that and rotate the players, because we also have a large squad now, I'll say it's almost similar to like in terms of star quality and everything and size, it's almost similar to what City has. So we can adopt something like that and be rotating players. We can't see Werner every time, we can't see Havertz every time, but we just have to be able to find a way to, how should I put it, to rotate this team and get everyone playing and fit.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I agree.
overall,
Sorry, you go it, Mohammed.
no, you can go ahead because I was going to change the topic and go back to player ratings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird how Kante ended up with a really high pass actually, because I thought first half he did what he does quite well, but I thought when he was coming forward and playing forward passes, I don't know. To me, it seemed like he didn't. To me, his first half performance was kind of summed up the teams in a way. It wasn't that good. I don't know. Just his forward passes.
Yeah, I think the passes were more of the second half than the first half, because the first half
Yeah,
you saw how blocked the how compact the West Brom defense was. There was no one's passes were going through actually. But I see Kante was the one trying to split the defense open, but it didn't work. Most of the times it was cut off and all that. But I think that it was more of the second half than the first half.
yeah, indeed. All right, Mohammed, you were gonna. Mohammed,
Sorry,
are you there?
sorry.
Okay, it's okay.
I was speaking and then my microphone, I just realized my microphone was off.
It's all right. Is it all right?
Just to sum it up for this game before we go into player ratings, as everyone stated, a poor first half and overall just an average performance. It was a must-win game, and it was a game where we could have taken 3 points away, but we didn't. It's 3-3 at the end of the day. A few defensive errors cost us those 3 goals. Caballero was good in goal. Callum Hudson-Odoi played well. The substitutes made by Frank Lampard changed the game, but a few of his decisions were criticised today and will probably be criticised all over the season. But before we end tonight's podcast, as we did for Liverpool's game, but with a different format where we only say the ratings for the players, as we've already criticised them enough. And there's a lot to talk about them for the Tottenham game and the Tottenham preview, which should be coming out in the next few days as well. Starting with Amart, maybe you can tell me Caballero's rating.
Yeah, cover 5, because sorry. If you say we're just going to mention it, but
I mean, you can say a line or two. I'm not going to restrict everyone to just say a number
Yeah,
and just.
just a
yeah,
quick.
okay. So yeah, Cavallera, I gave him a 5 because I was I think that if it was Kepa, and Kepa did those, Kepa didn't save any of those chances. Definitely, we're going to give him a 2 or a 3, or like you did the last time, a 0. so,
I might
so I
even give
give Kava a
Caballero
5.
0.
Did well in the second half, first half.
Okay.
Like, easy to be fair, the first half we can clearly say that some of those saves were unsavable. Those shots were unsavable, but it was Kepa. I will give him the same treatment. So, you know what? I'll give him a 4. I won't give him a 5. A 5 is too good. I'll give him a 4. Yeah, 4.
Okay.
Strong rating there, Alex.
I'll try and keep it shorter, but I'm going to give him a 5 because other than the goals, he really didn't have much to do. Yes, it's frustrating. He conceded 3 goals from 3 shots on target. He had nothing to do other than that, so I'm giving him a 5.
I gave him a 6. I mean, realistically, all 3 goals, not Caballero's fault. Defensive errors. He tried his best, and overall, he didn't have much to do in the game. So I gave him a 6. I mean, I'll just be generous with Caballero. If it was Kepa, it would have been a -5. But got to respect the man.
Okay.
Alex, what rating have you got for the back four? So if you can start with Christensen.
Okay, Christensen is a 6.5. To be honest, I don't know. I didn't notice much of what he did in the game, but he didn't make mistakes, or often mistakes. He had some good passes. Sorry, I don't remember him giving the ball away through passes or stupid decisions. He wasn't really caught out by their attack much, and he wasn't really at fault for the goals. And he made some good progressive passes. So I'm going to go with 6.5.
Fair rating. Amart, you gonna go with the same one, or have you got a different one?
Yeah, I also gave him a 6.5. I think he did well. Didn't do too great, but he did okay. He didn't do a mistake. So yeah, I also give him a 6.5.
Same here, 6.5. Played well. I mean, there were a few times where I thought, oh, maybe it was at the second goal. Thiago Silva gave the ball away. I thought he could have jumped in and maybe put a tackle. But I was like, Christensen, stay back. No another red card, please. No another.
You wanted him to body slam him again, eh?
I was like, Christensen, go for it, but be careful.
Right.
I'll go ahead with Thiago Silva. I gave him a 5. Errors that shouldn't have happened. Yes, it's new for him, but he's so experienced. I think wherever he plays, whether it be Brazil, Paris, England, he should be experienced enough to know what needs to be done. And the basics of defending is you don't let a ball loose. You clear it or you shoot it up. But yeah, Amart, your rating?
Yeah, I also give him a 5. If he had lost, I'll give him a 4 for the same reason. But he was lucky we got a draw, so his mistake goes unpunished a bit. But yeah, I give him a 4. That was a bad mistake. He should have done better.
Yeah, Alex.
Tough. I'm going 5 as well because I thought he actually played a pretty decent game aside from the error, but the error was pretty huge. So, and without it, we would have won. So, yeah, it's annoying, but he did the things you expect him to do. Played some good long passes to Reece James, especially. So yeah, I think a 5 is not too harsh and not too generous.
Yeah, Marcus Alonso, Alex.
I'm
Well, I'm
giving
gonna write
him.
that.
And
Just gonna write
let's
ha
just go
ha
ahead
ha.
and give.
Rating ha ha ha.
Yeah,
I
that was harsh from me,
I think
but
yeah, but
giving him honestly, I'm giving him a 2. That's probably my lowest rating I've given any player this season so far, a 2, because he basically not sabotaged the team, but he did all the things that you expect Marcus Alonso to do: not defend well, not take up his man on corners, go ball, and most importantly, what ball watching. He ball watches so much, loses his man always, and this was the same story. So his header was also was really poor for the first goal. So yeah, a 2.
Yeah, fair enough. Amart, your rating?
yeah, actually we were 2 down and I cancelled and I gave him 4. I don't know what I was thinking. So if I'm cancelling the 3 now, I'm giving him back to 2. So I don't know the reason why I cancelled. I've seen it in my book right now. I don't know why I cancelled the 2 and I gave him a 3. So I'm correcting it and cancelling the 3 and making it 2. The same reason as Alex said. He did it. I want to say single-handedly kind of like gave the game away, but because he did that together with Thiago Silva, but he was the cause for the 2 goals, and I don't know, it's just unacceptable, and he's too slow too. He's not good in the 4. We shouldn't play him at the 4 at the back again. He's only good for a 5, and so he should be around when we are playing the 5. He'll come in, but for now, no. We need Chilwell badly. So two
Yeah,
from me.
2 from you. I gave him another 2 as well. I think overall, Marcus Alonso was better off cleaning the benches. Probably just being a ball boy would have suited him better for tonight. Nowhere do I want him to start against Tottenham. If he does, I'm not going to watch the game. So, yeah. Kovacic, Amart.
Kova, I gave him a 5. I think he didn't do. I think he was having the same problems that the other midfielders were having because the defense was so packed that we ended up sending most of the balls back to our defenders because we couldn't do anything up front. Because even when we got the chances to do things up front, the only route we're taking was giving it to Reese for Reese to cross it or giving it to Werner for him to try something, but it doesn't work. That defense was just tight, and he went off in the first half, so he didn't really do much for me to give him more than a 5. So I think the 5 is fair. He did well, but he didn't see enough of him, and he didn't do much in the first half as well.
Yeah, fair enough on that one. Alex, who have you got? What have you got from Kovacic?
I've given him a 5.5. He only had one half of football, and he didn't really do what you normally. I mean, he didn't have much opportunity to dribble through the midfield, mostly because West Ham were sat so far back. So it would be pretty impossible to see a Kovacic like performance.
It's such a
So
bad team that Alex just said West Ham.
Yeah, you didn't hear me when I corrected you, but
sorry, West
yeah, no
Brom.
problem.
Yeah, it's the thing we can't beat the West sides. West Ham, West Brom. They're all.
We need Hazard, man. We need Hazard.
We can't play well against teams who have West in their name and then who end with United.
We need Hazard back, man. Hazard was the one that was scoring goals against West Ham, so we need him back to score just for the West Ham games, and then he goes back to Madrid.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, but Hazard even against West Brom would normally churn out a couple of goals or some assists. He would destroy them. It was great to watch.
Yes.
But yeah, back to the
exactly.
Kovacic. I mean, it was okay. I mean, West Brom they were sat a lot back, so there wasn't a lot of opportunity for him to drive through the midfield, and he didn't really do much else. Didn't really make many tackles, not many dribbles, didn't really shoot. So it was right of Lampard to take him off. And actually, I'm going to give him a 5 again because he really didn't impress, but he didn't have much to do.
Yeah. Overall, I gave Kovacic a 5 as well. I think nothing very special from him, but he was still better than most of our players. So 5 is, I think, fair enough for him. But Alex, Kante?
6.5. I think he whilst his first half performance I thought was pretty was in to be fair, most of the players in the first half were dreadful, so you can't really say Kante was bad, but yeah, I mean he was, but then in the second half, really it was impressive. I mean he was making tackles throughout the game. To be fair, I think he ended up with the most tackles of anyone on the pitch, and he was playing some really good passes in the second half. So I think a 6.5 is pretty fair.
Yeah, I'll go with 6 on him as well. You know, he did really well, and overall, I would say he was probably the best player out there. Did well defensively as well. So Amart, your rating?
Yeah, I think I also give him a 6.5 because, like you said, his first half wasn't the best, but I can't blame just him for having a bad first half. Most of our guys had a bad first half, but we came the second half better, and it was actually one of the reasons why we didn't concede again because, especially when Thiago Silva went off and Giroud came on, you could see that he went into the defensive role, fully into the defensive role, and he was sometimes the last man in defense, and I think it was nice to see. And like Alex said, he made a lot of tackles, and he actually kept us in the game in the second half. The first half wasn't too great, but the first half was okay, so I give him a 6.5.
Yeah, so quite a good rating for Kante, and it keeps the rhythm that I can see as always. Just Kante seems to be getting the highest of ratings. But moving on to our forwards. Oh, sorry, I think I missed Reece James from the defense, but can we go back to that? Reece James.
Yeah, Reece James. Let me see. Did I even? It's funny. I also missed him here, but
I think we all missed him.
yeah, I missed him in the books. I think I'm gonna give him a 5 because yeah, he wasn't really. He was putting in crosses, but sometimes the crosses. We know Reece has good crosses, In the first half, he gave, I think, Werner and Tammy some excellent passes that they should have scored. But the second half, it looked like he was hitting it too hard or too high, or I don't know, I don't know. There was a problem with his crosses, and he didn't really, like I said, like I didn't really think he did much in the game, but he was okay and he did what he was supposed to do. So I gave him a 5. I don't think his performance warranted a 6, but yeah, 5 is okay.
Yeah, I think I'll give him. What did I give Reece James? I gave him a 5.5. I think he did really well. A few times he did make a mistake, but it is what it is. He still happens to be one of our best players on the pitch, and I'll give him a 5.5. Alex.
I'm giving him a 6. I thought his crossing was very good. I mean, yes, he did overhit some of his crosses, and some of them he didn't look where he was to see if there was anyone in the box, because some of them there just weren't anyone. There wasn't anyone on the end of them, but he did put in some peaches of the ball he put some peaches into the box for Werner and Tammy, and he made some good tackles. Yes, for the third goal, you could say he was playing the defender on side, but he really didn't have any time to react. And then I can't remember if it was the first or the second where he it's the first. And yes, it's a bit poor from him to let the shot go through his legs. So, and there's not much Willie can do about it. So I think a 6, but he did have good moments. He made lots of key passes. So, and yeah, I don't remember him making specific mistakes other than just failing to defend as well as we would like him to. So I think a 6 is fair, but I understand where you guys are coming from.
I think he was pretty good as well, but Mason Mount, guys, Alex.
I'm gonna go an 8. Normally, it's for me. If Mason Mount gets an 8 from me, I think he's done his job really well, and I think today, because I don't know, I see myself as not a Mount hater, but just a Mount critic. But today, it was brilliant. I thought his goal was fantastic, and he was just so positive in the second half. Basically, it was a lot. It was a lot like his Barnsley performance in a way. He was just really positive and really spurred the team on. Made lots of good passes, pressed really well, good goal. Yeah, and arguably the man of the match. Not my man of the match, but arguably. So it's an 8 from me. Actually, I'll take it back. It's a 7.5 because I forgot about his first half performance. In the first half, I thought some of his
I think we
decisions.
all wish to forget Chelsea's performance in the first half.
Yeah, that's true. 7.5 actually, because in the first half, I thought some of his decision making was a bit dodgy, but everyone had something that had poor decisions, so it's like can't really mock him that much for it. But his decisions weren't that great in the first half, so yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, for me, I went with a 7.5 as well, and completely agree with you. There's more he can do, but again, he's not playing in his natural position, so I think just give him a few more games and he'll probably be an 8 as an average. But Amart, your rating for him?
Yeah, because of the bad first half, so let's assume that all of them have taken a -1. So, by the way, the first half has already given them a -1. So I
Yeah,
wrote
that's
8.
quite good. That's clever.
Yeah. So in actual fact, we would have all given him an 8 because he did well, but because of that first half performance, we just had to consider that one too as well. So I actually give him a 7. My highest rating was a 7, and he was one of the people who got a 7 because I felt like without his goal, there wouldn't have been a comeback because they were so compact at the back. They were so tight at the back that the only time the only way we could have scored was by a shot by a shot outside the box because we weren't getting into the box, and that goal kind of like put pressure on West Brom, and then they wanted you see, because we scored a goal, they wanted to add another one for it to it so that we would not make the comeback. So they were becoming more open and were able to get into the box. So that goal really helped us. Yes, it's it's kind of like obvious that without a first goal you can't start the comeback. But in a way, without that shot going in, they wouldn't have opened the game, and the game became more open, and we had more chances, and were able to take full advantage, and we came out with a point. So yeah, I give him a 7. It would have been an 8 by 7. Bad performance first half, so 7.
Yeah. So Mason Mount, pretty good overall. But the next one, Kai Havertz on the list. Amart, what have you got for him?
Yeah, he's also one of the people I gave a highest rating, 7. To be fair, Kai wasn't really that bad in the first half. To be fair, he wasn't. He was one of the more composed people in the first half. To be fair, the team was bad in general, but his performance in the first half was okay. And so I could have given an 8, but I just stayed to the 7. And again, he's not really playing in his position, so we can't expect much from him. But that 1-2 with Callum to get the second goal was just fantastic. And he tried certain things like that also in the game, but it didn't work out too much. You could see he wanted to try and get into the box and do something. He could have gotten a goal today, but that defense was just so tight. And yeah, he did very, very well, and I gave him a 7 as well.
Yeah, I gave him a 6.5. I think he could have done better compared to the performance he had at Barnsley. But again, yeah, it's a second-tier team, so I won't get into the details of that one. But Alex?
I'm giving him a 7 as well. I thought pretty much for all the reasons that Amart said. He had a good assist. He had really good moments. He didn't really make many mistakes in the first half. He's just such a clever player, and he showed it today. So there's not much else I could have really asked for him. I don't remember him having many shooting opportunities where he So I don't really have any complaints about him. So yeah, a 7 is a fair rating, I think.
Yeah, Werner, one of our left wingers / strikers. Alex?
Oh, this is tough. I'm gonna go with a 5.5 because it's just from the left. I'm not sure why. I really don't like. I don't know when Abraham's already up top. I don't like how Werner is just played as the left winger. He doesn't do what you want your left winger to do, especially when Frank Lampard knows that we attack so much on our right side. Werner isn't the kind of guy who's going to drop down and drop back and get involved with the play and create. So, and he did have a couple of shooting opportunities. He got unlucky with hitting the bar early on, and he did have some promising shots. Got close a couple of times, but yeah, he's in his business, in his position. When you don't score goals, it's kind of like you're going to get a bad rating. Although then again, he is known for getting assists too. But yeah, it wasn't a great day for him, I thought. So I'm going to give a 5.5.
Yeah, for me, I gave him a 5. I think he could have done better, as we talked about before, averaging 4 shots a game. At least score one of them in the Premier League. But as you both said, we'll give him time to settle in. Amart, your prediction? Sorry, not prediction. Your rating?
Yeah, predictions. We have to chill on the predictions because we are getting them bad so far.
Throw them out. I think only I have gotten. I think only I've got a prediction right. I think I said 3-1 against Brighton, and after that, I don't think anyone has gotten.
I also got that one too right.
Oh yeah, so me and you, Alex, you need to catch up.
Yeah, you need to catch up. So yeah, Timo, I gave him a 5.5 as well because a lot of people have this kind of misconception that he played on the left. He played as a left winger for Leipzig. He really didn't, because even though he was on the left to the main striker, if he wasn't the main striker, he was always on the left. But he didn't really play. He didn't really come in from the wing. He was more of like a second striker who was at the left side, and he was scoring goals from the left side. But he wasn't really a left winger. He wasn't doing stuff that the left winger should be doing. He wasn't. He's not to be fair, he's not really skillful. He has pace, and his pace is able to help him beat defenders, but he's not skillful. He can't. He's not known for crossing the ball from the wings, so he's not really a natural winger. So if you put him in a left wing position, he might do well, but he will not excel. So he needs to be in his position. If I don't know whether Lampard can or will do this. He has said it in the past that he doesn't like a 4-4-2 formation, but like a 4-4-2 formation will favor Werner very, very well. But Lampard doesn't like it. So with a 4-4-3 in a 4-3-3, he needs to be the main striker. So he has to be rotated with Abraham. I don't think he can play with Abraham in the same game.
Yeah. Last but not least, Tammy Abraham. Amar, what did you?
Tammy, because of his goal, I gave him a 7. Just mainly because of his goal. He saved the game, and I gave him a 7. But apart from that, he was really quiet in the whole game. He was very, very quiet. He was trying stuff here and there, but most of the times the people that were with the ball was either Werner, Kai, or Callum. I didn't really see that much from him in the second half, even though he got the goal, which was great. That's why I gave him a 7. But in the first half too, he missed a couple of chances. There were some chances that I expected him to use his head. Some crosses I expected him to use his head, but I don't know. He's tall, so I don't know. He was supposed to jump and get some headers in, but he didn't. Some crosses that came in, he didn't use his head. He was just trying to chest it or trying to use his head. I don't know what he was trying to do, but yeah, I give him a 7, just mainly because of the goal. The goal added 1 to it, and I was like, I'll give him a 6 initially, but the goal added 1 to it, and he saved it. He saved a point, so 7 from me.
Yeah, I gave him a 7 as well. Alex, what about you?
I go 6.5. I'm really happy he got the goal. It was a really good awareness from him anticipation. Sorry, to see that to be in that spot when or perhaps the goalkeeper could spill it, and he did. So it was really good of him to be there. But at the same time, thought he was wasteful. Reece James, especially in the first half, put a couple of great balls for him, and he just put it wide or put it over, and it was really frustrating. If he had put his chances on, if him and Werner had put their chances away, this game we'd have nothing to worry about. So it is annoying, but I have to credit him for getting the goal. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a 6.5. That might be a bit harsh, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the only one that's remaining are the subs, and as we always do, we'll combine them together. I gave them an 8. Of course, the subs did make a very huge impact in Chelsea. I think the second half we played a lot better than the first one, so 8 for me. What about you, Alex?
It's tough. If I went through individual ones, I would give one or two of them an 8. But because we're taking all of them into account, and Giroud, I didn't think did. Well, actually, no. Giroud in the goal, he actually did keep the ball in a couple of for Hudson-Odoi to then put the cross in. So yeah, I'll give the subs an 8. They all had an impact on the second half in some way or another, and especially Hudson-Odoi and Aspi, they really shifted our focus from the right side to both wings. So yeah, I'm gonna go 8. And of course Hudson-Odoi for brilliant contribution in this game.
Yeah, I think he played really well. Amart, your prediction, your
Why do I keep saying predictions? Am I too excited for the Tottenham game, or is it just?
We are. I think we're all excited for it.
Yeah.
your rating for the subs?
Yeah, I can't disagree with both of you. I'll give them an 8 as well, because yeah, even though Drew didn't do that much, Aspi and Callum were excellent. They were good, and you could clearly see why Aspi is the captain, and people were saying Thiago should be the captain. Thiago should be the no. Aspi is our captain. He'll be our captain till we leave the team, and so he understands Chelsea. He knows what it means to lose. He knows what it means to win, and we needed him, and you could see that he was the one pushing the boys on the field, and I just love to see him in that position. Nobody should take it away from him again. So yeah, so I give them all an 8.
Yeah, so overall, our subs performed better than the starting 11. I think that wraps up tonight's review for Chelsea versus West Brom. I saw a very sad defeat at the Hawthorns, of course, 2016, which you can go way back. Michy Batshuayi with that late goal, making Chelsea the champions. Nothing like that tonight. Frank's boys a lot to improve in there. A few things that Frank needs to stick with now that we have decided is the formation. He needs to decide who to play where, especially in his defensive positions, as well as a few changes here and there. But we'll discuss that in the Tottenham preview. Again, great to have a chat with you, Alex and Amart. I think you guys kept me in check, and that's the reason I didn't end up swearing or
Ended up going off at Chelsea and Lampard because I was going to go off.
Nah, I thought you were okay. I reckon if Kepa had played, I think we'd have to do some censorship. But thankfully, Willie has saved us some exciting time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Well,
And surely
exactly. Hopefully Mendy comes in soon. When Mendy comes in soon, we know for sure Caballero and Kepa are only going to be playing FA Cup and league games, because if Mendy comes in and is able to save one or two good shots, man, the guy is in for life. So I just want him to come. I wish he would be ready before the Spurs game. I just wish, but since the League Cup, probably Kaba or Kepa might play.
I mean, yeah. Whoever plays, hopefully it's a clean sheet against Tottenham. Jose Mourinho. I think it's an away game for us, so we're going to be going to Tottenham, and it will surely be a very interesting match, in my opinion. You know.
Imagine how great will it be if Lampard beats him again for the third time? Wow, that would be just. That would be just
Amazon,
fantastic.
please film this episode. Please record this match.
I don't know. Did you guys watch the full Tottenham documentary?
I did, yeah. They skipped.
Yeah,
They-
it was very sorry. We are
Sorry, they skipped over one. I mean, I like the one where Son got sent off. They covered that well, but then the other one, the one
we are deviating, but it was very good. But I was just waiting for the Chelsea games. They did the one at Spurs. Yeah, they really
yeah,
went. Into
and then
it.
the one at Stamford Bridge where Giroud, like just before, the one I can't remember actually. I think Giroud, the one where Giroud scored.
Yeah, they didn't talk about it. They just showed the highlights a bit and then said something small about it and then went back. I really wanted them to dwell more on it, but they didn't. It's their documentary, so we understand.
Yep. I think that sums it up for tonight. Hopefully, we can have a lot more energy for the Tottenham game. Of course, we discuss FPL on here as well, but tonight there's no point discussing it. We're recording this on a Saturday night, and most of the games kick off on a Sunday and Monday. So if we record the Tottenham game on a Monday, we might do it then, or even in the review match, review podcast after the Tottenham game.
Let me just save you guys some time. I'm going to be last again because I captained Werner again, hoping that he would do something in this game. And this is the last time I'm captaining him. I'm not going to captain him again. So let me just. I know I'm going to be last again. So
okay.
let me just put that out.
This makes me want to open the league. Amart, you've got 22 points this game week, which is the third highest in the league. So keep your heads high, man.
It's just crazy. I started playing FPL in 2016 or so, and I've been getting good results in the early game weeks. But this season, I just don't know what happened. Man, the new players are just killing me.
Yeah, hopefully we can discuss more about this after the game week has finished. But for now, I think that's all we have. And hopefully we can go back to winning ways against Tottenham in the midweek and then Crystal Palace at home, I think that one. So yeah, that would be interesting matches. Hopefully, we might even start playing in our third kit against Crystal Palace just to confuse the players. But let's see. Thank you guys for listening, for all the support. If you're watching it on YouTube, then make sure to subscribe and leave a like, rating, comment below what you thought of this game, because football Twitter was very reactionary tonight. And I want to see what YouTube thinks, what other platforms thinks. But other than that, if you're listening to it on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or any of the platforms that we upload the audio on, then make sure to add it to your playlist. It means a lot to us. We're trying to get to 200 followers on Instagram, Twitter, and 200 subscribers by the end of the year. And if it happens as promised, I will keep my word. I will try and arrange a giveaway of a Chelsea shirt. I don't know how, but it will happen. And for the Tottenham podcast, I'm trying to get a Tottenham guest arranged, so we might have a bit of a debate there, but that would be interesting as well. So I think that's a good note to leave you all on. Hopefully you guys watch the whole episode, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Alex and Amart.
Thank you. Great to be on, and can't wait to be on the next time to speak about this big game against Spurs.
Yeah, same. Hopefully the next time we talk, we will be more optimistic.
Yeah, hopefully. Just before I end it, shout out to Adam, Devan, as I do every episode. These guys work really hard behind the scenes. All the match day edits, all the editing that you see of the podcast is done by them, and they are absolute legends. Without them, we won't be, or you won't be able to hear our audio, and hopefully next season our video. You know, there's a lot of plans happening for next season. Maybe we start planning now.
Big things happening in CFC Talk.